Ok. Benvenuti, ciao a tutti. Vediamo un po', aspettiamo un secondo. Vediamo. Riuscite a sentirci? Ok, vedo che sta scrivendo Siri. Ok, perfetto. Ciao a tutti. Per tutti, ovviamente, non so se mi conoscete già, io sono Hélène di elab e qui oggi abbiamo Kyle, che è di Coventry University.
Ciao guys.
Vediamo un po' se... Ok, ciao Sara, eccoci. Allora, hello. Potete comunque fare delle domande, Kyle vi farà una presentazione. Potete fare le domande scrivendoli già in inglese se preferite, così Kyle ha la possibilità di vedere già le domande. In più, in alto a destra, vedete immagini, potete cliccare su Doc a destra, così vi sposta appunto le nostre facce, così potete vedere meglio la presentazione di Kyle. Alla fine potete fare tutte le domande che volete a Kyle, io farò un po' da tramite, nel senso che se scrivete in italiano ovviamente traduco direttamente. Ok, allora io faccio partire subito Kyle, vi raccomando carichi tutte le domande che vi vengono in mente e ci vediamo dopo. Kyle, it's all yours, the stage is all yours.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So firstly, hello to everybody and thank you for attending today. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be running through, hopefully during the presentation I will cover some questions that you may have, but what I would like is at the end of the presentation, any questions that I may not have answered, please ask them and I'll do my best to answer them for you. Okay? So, what I've done to begin with is I've just kind of listed these here, which are more relevant to the September intake of 2020, obviously with the current situation. So really just to give you guys some reassurance, covering a few different topics. So the first one being, and a question we are getting quite a lot at the moment, is with regard to the English qualifications. Now, typically we would have asked for an IELTS. Now, we are aware that that is a lot more difficult this year to obtain. So we are accepting kind of alternative English qualifications. So I've listed those here. So the first one is the TOEFL at home, and I've listed the points that you would need to achieve. So typically we would ask for an IELTS of 6 on the majority of our undergraduate courses. So we would need you to achieve 60 points for an undergraduate course, and anybody that is interested in doing a master's, we would need you to achieve 79 points. For the Duolingo, it's there again in front of you, so it's 95 for the equivalent of an IELTS of 6, 105 for the equivalent of 6.5, and 115 for an IELTS of 7. So that is for our higher IELTS courses that we do have. And then finally, we do also do our own English test, English assessment, I should say. So what this entails, and excuse the typo there, it is a Skype video English assessment, which would be done with myself. And basically what that would be, is it would be a conversation between me and you. And I would just ask you questions to get your English level. And then if we feel that it is acceptable for you to join the course, so that we know you would get the best out of your studies, we can, if you pass, use that to remove your English condition as well. So I know it can be a little bit worrying about how you are going to meet that English condition, but be reassured we are doing what we can to kind of find alternative options for you to make that as easy as possible. Okay, student loans, these are not affected at the moment. The way in which they're applied for and the way in which they're run are exactly the same as they have been previously. So when you have an offer from a university, you do your application online. At the point of doing your application, you apply for the full funding of the duration of your course. So obviously the student loans are guaranteed for EU students this year, so for September 2020. And when you do your application, you will apply for the full 3 years funding. That meaning that the funding is guaranteed for the next 3 years for the duration of your course. Anybody that may be worried if you leave your course, or how is it paid back, or if, you know, worst case scenario, you don't join in September and it's delayed, you do only pay back what has been funded. So if you did one semester and only one semester was funded, that's how it's worked out. So again, they will do what they can to help you. Obviously, we hope that you're happy and you come and you do the full 3 years. But if worst case scenario, there was a reason that you had to leave, or you didn't join the course to begin with, then you haven't used the tuition money, so you wouldn't be looking to pay that back. Okay, and then probably the biggest question at the moment is teaching. How is it going to start? When is it going to start? Please be reassured that we are absolutely working towards a September intake, an on-campus intake. But like every country at the moment, we are going with the government guidelines. So if anything changes, we will be sure to let students that hold an offer with us know as soon as possible. And kind of worst case, and this is worst case, if for any reason it did have to start online, even if it was potentially for the first semester, we have the capacity to do so. We are actually ranked within the top 10 in the world for our online courses, the Aula system that we use. So we have the facilities to be able to do that if for any reason the September intake was potentially delayed ever so slightly, again, depending on the government guidelines. But that is worst case scenario. It's not something that we do. We want you to join us on campus in September. We are putting, you know, the precautions in place that we need to at the moment with regards to social distancing and that kind of thing. So that is being sorted on campus at the moment. And like I said, fingers crossed, everything is okay for September and we'll see you on campus. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just run through Coventry University. So more on joining us and what would happen when you join us. So how to get here, what's involved, accommodation, that kind of thing. So first of all, arrive at Coventry. So if you haven't managed to visit us before you join us, you know, for a campus tour or something like that, the closest airport to us is Birmingham. It's 10 minutes on the train. I do it all the time. The train station is 10 minutes from campus once you hit Coventry. So it's very easy to get to us flying into Birmingham. And then the majority of the other kind of main airports are in London. A train again from central London to Coventry is only an hour from London Euston, which again is directly into Coventry. So it's very easy to get to us once you are here. We do also offer a free transfer from London Heathrow. So that is a coach transfer. Dates and stuff are kind of organised closer to the time, so you can arrange your flights around that. But if it was me and it's easy enough, I would just fly into Birmingham and you'd be kind of here on the train in 10 minutes. Important, accommodation. So the majority of our students, especially for first year, will stay in university halls. So they will stay in our accommodation. And the great thing is we have an abundance of it. We have plenty of accommodation available for students, and it is guaranteed for first year students as well. And we try and make the application process as easy as possible. So at the point when you have your offer from the university, a conditional offer, you will receive your own personal student ID number. I can personally provide these to you. When you have your student ID number, you can apply for your accommodation, even if your offer isn't unconditional, because obviously we appreciate your results for your exams and stuff come later on in the year. But if you want to secure your accommodation earlier on, you can do that as soon as you hold an unconditional offer. Applications are open now. There's not really a deadline for accommodation or applying for accommodation. We have students who apply for it in September. But of course, the sooner you apply, the more likely you are to have a better selection of the options that are available. So, of course, some of our blocks are newer than others. Some have better communal facilities than others. So the sooner you get in there, the more likely you are to kind of get the better option there. They're all great, but some are better than others. Here's just some examples of the accommodations that are available. They are modern apartments that we have, and they have lots of communal facilities, so cinema rooms, karaoke rooms, laundrettes, computer rooms, football tables, that kind of thing. So there's plenty of stuff for you to do on a social point of view within the accommodation buildings themselves. And there's three main options. So you have the self-catered single room. So that is effectively where you'll look after everything yourself, in the respect of kind of meals and that kind of thing. And it has communal facilities. So it means that you will have a shared bathroom and a shared kitchen with your other two housemates. So that is kind of the cheaper option. It's popular. Then we have the middle option, which is the ensuite room, so the ensuite single room. So you will still have a shared kitchen. The kitchens are very big. They facilitate all the students that live in there, but it just means you'll have your own private bathroom, so you won't be sharing. And then we have the self-catered ensuite with catering. At the student hub, we have a huge canteen, which has around 7 different kind of cuisines that are there. And you would have 10 meals cooked for you per week. So if you didn't want to cook or you can't cook and you think that's going to be an easier option for you, that is kind of the third option that's available. It kind of ranges from £120 to £150 per week, depending on which one you choose, and how long you take the contract over. So you make the decision when you log on to apply for your accommodation. You pick the option that you want, you choose the block that you're interested in, and then your application goes straight over to the accommodation team, and they would respond to you. This is Coventry city centre. This is a map of the city centre, and you can see that all of our personal internal accommodation is on campus. So it's walking distance to all of the faculties, and that's what students do like about it, especially in the first year, when you're kind of getting to know the city and getting to know the campus, that actually you don't have to walk very far to get from your accommodation to where your studies are going to be. And this is how you pay. So you pay a deposit when you secure the accommodation that you're interested in. So it is a £300 deposit to secure your accommodation. And then it's paid in 3 further instalments. So it's paid in 3/3, which is over semesters. So kind of the first semester, second semester, third semester. There are other options as well. So if you potentially wanted to pay it monthly, you could do that. But we find that the students are happy to do it over the 3 instalments because it gives you time to kind of get the monies available to kind of pay for your accommodation. So again, that is very easy. The contract would be drawn up. You would have the details of where you needed to send the money to be able to do that. Opening a bank account, coming to the UK, I always advise students to do this. I think it's important, especially if you are going to look to find part-time work whilst you're here, because you will need a bank account, obviously, for your wages to be paid into. There's just a few examples of kind of the main banks that are available with student accounts. Student accounts in the UK have benefits. They have overdrafts without interest, that kind of thing. So they are specific accounts for students. It is becoming easier as well with bank accounts that are online as well, so the likes of Monzo and that kind of thing. But it is important that you do that when you arrive to the UK to make sure that you can kind of have the money paid into there. It's very easy to do. ID, proof of address, proof of student status. So you would just take your unconditional offer letter, citizen ID, that kind of thing, a proof of address, which would be the letter addressed to your student accommodation, and then you would be able to open a bank account quite easily. And then moving on to part-time work. So the majority of our students will work part-time whilst they study. Coventry is a city, the campus is in the city centre, so there's an abundance of opportunities available for students to work whilst they study, especially for part-time work, cafes, bars, offices, that kind of thing. We also just express to our students that if you are going to work part-time whilst you study, is just make sure that it doesn't affect your studies. So just make sure the job that you take on, you can manage that alongside your, because your studies effectively are the most important thing. When you arrive on campus, we have an office called the Future Works. They are there to find you part-time work. They will have connections with employers that are looking for part-time employees, and they will help you find a position which is designed to work around a student's studies. That's located in the student hub. Go there as soon as you arrive and they'll find you something that kind of suits your needs and what you're looking to do. Student life in Coventry. Coventry is known as a student city, and we are within the top 5 UK student cities. What that means to you is it's relatively affordable to live in Coventry, but as a student, but there's an abundance of other things that are available. So from the social side of being a student as well. The hub is the heart of student life. So it is a huge building located on campus. It's where the canteen is. It's where we have the printing facilities, barbers. We have a cinema there. We have music rooms. We have kind of chill out areas where you can meet friends and study. But it also has the student union. So Student Union is there for anybody that is interested in joining any of our sports teams or our societies. So again, when you get on campus, you would go to the Student Union, you would let them know what you are interested in, albeit sports. We have over 55 sports teams that do compete competitively. So you can go there if you already play sports now and express your interest in joining the teams. And then we actually have over 160 societies now, that is ever growing. So any kind of interests that you have outside of your studies, you can kind of guarantee there's going to be a society for it. And if not, if you can find 9 other people that are interested, you can actually create your own society as well. Like I said, very easy to join. Go there, register your details, and then the Student Union will help you move forward with that. You're joining at the perfect time. So Coventry was actually voted the City of Culture 2021. So next year, there is going to be a lot of fun things happening in the city. So it will be a year of celebrations. So there'll be lots of parties going on. There'll be lots of fun things that you can join in. It's going to be a very good year for the city. So you are joining at the perfect time. It's just something for you to be able to enjoy yourself whilst you're there. That's kind of it for the camp and accommodation and joining and what you come to do when you get onto campus. Now, what I've done just to kind of lighten things up, these are my personal tips for students when they come to the UK. Hope you like them. So my top tips to adapting to the UK. Always respect the queue. We get annoyed when people cut in, so never cut in. Be on time, whether it be to your classes, meeting up with your friends, any social events. We get very moody when people aren't on time. Be prepared to say sorry all the time. If somebody bumps into you, you say sorry. It's just we do. I don't know why, but we do. Learn to talk about the weather. We always do it. It's kind of how we start all of our conversations. We moan that it's too hot, we moan that it's too cold. It's very typical of British people, but we do it in a fun way, and it's a good way to start conversations with people. Learn to make a cuppa. If you are housed with British students, you will very quickly make friends with British students. They will ask you to make them a cup of tea. So yeah, kind of get ready with that as soon as you join. Beans on toast, one of my all-time favourite meals. Super easy and super cheap to make. pretty much everyone in the UK survives on it, especially students. So if your friends offer to cook you a meal, it's probably going to be beans on toast. And then just for you, download BBC Radio 1, download BBC iPlayer, just from an entertainment side. And then most shops, a bit different. We close at 6 p.m. in the evening, and on Sundays we're only open till 4. So if you plan on doing any shopping when you get to the UK, just remember those times. Top tips to survive the university itself. Learn how to cook at least one meal. You are going to be moving away from your parents. You are going to be living on your own. You're going to have the independence. I personally am not great at cooking, so I would try and practice this before I came. Learn how to do your laundry. Nobody's going to do it for you, so you are going to have to do it yourself. That I can do. And then manage your time wisely. So there's lots of apps where you can kind of work your studies around your part-time job and that kind of thing. Have a budget and try and stick to it. Work out what income you're going to have whilst you're in the UK, and work out what your costs are going to be, and how you can manage that and stick to that. It will make life a lot easier. Set rules with your housemates, whether it be cleaning rotas or social rotas. Get those in place as soon as possible. Get a rail card. Birmingham's only 20 minutes away. London's only an hour away. It's very easy for you to go there on a day trip. If you get a rail card for students, you will get discount on your tickets. And register for days and student beans. So they are apps where you get discount on pretty much everything. From clothing to eating out, restaurants, bars, they are there to get you discount for being a student. Making friends, attend Freshers Week. So when you arrive at Coventry University, there will be a full week of celebrations to help new students settle in. It's a great way to meet other students from the university that are on your course or not on your course, but they will all be in the same boat as you. They potentially country, they don't know anybody, and they're all there to make friends, try and make it easier whilst you're at the university. Bring the door stop. Don't close your door when you're in your room. Shut yourself off. Keep yourself open to your housemates. Keep it social. Join a society or a club or a sports team. Make a cake. We love cake in the UK. If you can bake a cake, everybody will love you. And just smile and have fun. You know, your studies are important, but your overall experience as a student is just as important. And then finally, just a little bit more serious, if you do find yourself getting homesick, being away from home for the first time, say yes to social gatherings. If somebody invites you out, say yes if you can. Get moving and stay active. You know, if you're staying in the university accommodation, you have free access to the university gym. Take advantage of it. Stay away from social media. Make you miss it in the first instance. You know, create your own celebrations here in the UK and you can post them yourself. Talk about it. If you are feeling down or if you are missing home, you can speak to people on campus, you can speak to your friends, and there are teams there to help you as well. The welfare team are there to support you once you're here with us. And be patient. It will get better. You may feel homesick, but it won't last forever. We're there to support you as much as we can. And then finally, just remember, you are joining Coventry University of the Year for overall student experience. So we are there to make your experience as good as possible. So we will support you in every way that we can. And then you graduate. You stay with us, you actually, you know, we'll help with that as well, with career that you choose. And that's it from me. So this is me. Follow me on Instagram. Any questions? If I haven't got anything, just let me know. You can do that after if we don't cover it in the call today. And that's it. Ask me any questions that you have. Don't be shy. I'm here to help. So any questions that you've got that I haven't covered, I'm happy to answer them for you now. So you would open a bank account when you arrive. So the question is, when should you open a bank account? You will open that when you arrive in the UK. So, like I said, it is a little bit easier now with some of the online banks that are available, but you will need a UK address to be able to open the bank account. So you will be able to take your unconditional offer. Your proof of address would be the address of your accommodation that you've chosen and your ID. So most students would do that within the first week of arriving to campus, just to make sure that that is open and available for when you do find that part-time work or whatever the reason is that you need it.
Okay, I think. Hi, Kyle. Thank you. That was great. Beans on toast was the best.
I just realized.
Okay, I'll leave you to it. I'll leave you to it because obviously these students are great. They're writing everything already in English. So as soon as I see someone writing in Italian, I'll get back to you on that. Okay? So go ahead.
Fantastic. Thank you. So the next question, one of my main worries is that I won't meet the grades required. So will I be rejected, or are there other ways? So we would never automatically reject a student, especially this year. We do understand that students' grades potentially will be affected, not just from lack of exams, but obviously not being in the classroom, and just things being very different. So what we would do, once you have your grades, send them to us. Each student is looked at individually. So you're not just automatically rejected. We look through each individual email that comes through. So sometimes if your grades are only slightly short, but if you have done well in a subject that is relevant to the degree that you've applied for, that can counteract the overall grade that we requested. But we also offer foundation courses at Coventry as well. If your grades were too low to be considered for an undergraduate degree, we do have the foundation option. It does mean an extra year of studies, but it will help you build the relevant knowledge that you need to be able to progress on to that main degree. You need to pass it ranging between 60 and 65%. So it's kind of, I don't want to say easy, but it's kind of easier to be able to progress straight onto the undergraduate degree. So we wouldn't automatically reject you. We look at it each case individually, and we would send you the options that you have following us receiving your academic grades.
Okay, so you have other questions. Okay, there we've got Elisa doing that. Okay.
Okay, so next question. I did the Cambridge Advanced Exam in September 2019, achieving grade A. Do you accept this? Yes. Yes. So for the 2020 intake, we would accept it from 2019. So we would require it to be at grade C. So we actually accept B2, so B2 and above, if it is just a standard English entry requirement. So we need to know more the course that you're studying to make sure that that would be accepted, because some of them are IELTS entry requirements, require different entry requirements for the English, but on kind of the majority of our undergraduate degrees, that would be acceptable.
Okay.
Does the student loan cover also the foundation year, or just? Yes, it does. So lots of students join a foundation year. For many different reasons. Students will join because they didn't get the grades that they needed. Some will join because they're not quite sure exactly what they want to study. Our foundation courses offer a fast track progression into a number of different undergraduate degrees. So you're not restricted. Really, they are relevant to subjects, so health and life sciences or engineering or business. And the student loan does cover it. So UK and EU students have access to 4 years funding. So whether that's used to do a foundation year or a master's, students can get funding for that. So if you do choose to do a foundation course, when you apply for your student loan, you would just enter both courses. So the name of the course and the course code that is specific to the university. That would then show the student that you are doing a foundation, which will progress into your your bachelor's degree, and you will have the 4 years funding for it. What is the deadline? Sorry, what is the deadline to send in your grades and English certificate? So the initial deadline is the 31st of July. Now, don't panic. That is just a deadline that is set in place for us to help us progress as many applications as we can. Again, more relevant to this year, we are very understanding that students are going to get their grades a little bit later, potentially a bit later than they would have normally. So we are going to extend it to the end of August. That can be for your English and your academic, your school studies, that's your diploma. Now, for the English, we do offer the English assessment with myself as if you haven't done an English qualification yet, or you're worried that you won't get that in time, and that is another option for you. But please don't panic too much about getting your grades to us by a certain deadline. We are being very accommodating, so just email us, let us know the situation, let us know when you're expecting to get them, and we will make a note on your file for you.
Okay, I'm just going to pop in, Kyle, because I can see Sarah asking, can I apply for free with it? Lab, also for student loan. Obviously, we are here to help. All the help you need and whatever is, not only questions today, obviously, with Kyle, obviously, we are here to help you. And it is all about from the application to students loan to accommodation to everything you need to make this be the best opportunity and experience ever. Okay? It's your turn.
Yeah, so just on that question, I would say the ELAB are fantastic in the fact that it can be very confusing when applying to a university in another country. Now, ELAB will help with all, so it can get confusing. These guys will help you, whether it be with the application of the student loan. They're fantastic. They're there. Make use of them, absolutely.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
So, no problem. Next question, is it really possible to pay the accommodation and life in general with just a part-time job without the support of parents? Yes. So the UK, our wages are good. So if you take into account the general cost of living and your accommodation, part-time work will cover it. So the majority students and our EU students are fully self-funded, so they will kind of fund that through working part-time. It's absolutely doable. The jobs that the Future Works will find you as well potentially are negotiated to a more competitive salary, especially if you are going to be working evenings and weekends. Lots of students will earn overtime, double time, working bank holidays and stuff like that. So it is absolutely doable, and the majority of our students do it.
Okay, I can see Beatrice asking a question in Italian. I think it's about foundation year and students loan. Will that be covered whilst applying, obviously, for foundation year? So can she apply for students loan? I'm just going to quickly, because obviously she can, and I'm just going to answer that in Italian to her. Beatrice, ciao. Allora, sì, se scegli di fare il foundation year è coperto dal prestito, quindi si fa la richiesta nel momento in cui vai a fare la richiesta, quindi il modulo va compilato specificando appunto che faresti foundation year, ma ovviamente è coperto foundation year come se fosse entry year one, quindi sì, ok. Okay, Ali, I think, has another question for you, Kyle.
Okay. Do you pay the tuition fee during the placement year? No, you do not. So during your placement year, you're effectively not at the university. So you don't pay tuition whilst you're not there. So if you do choose to do the placement year, obviously that would be 4 years, but it still will only be 3 years worth of studies and 3 years worth of funding. So No, you do not.
Because when you do placement year, you do get a wage, don't you? So they will be paid by, it's a job, an actual job.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. And that's why so many students do choose to do the placement years. And we do offer them on the majority of our courses for the fact that not only do you gain real life experience, typically within a business that is relevant to your degree, you also get paid. So, you know, you're still able to fund your accommodation and your cost of living, and usually a little bit more. So, yeah, it's a great option. A lot of students do choose to do it. And you don't pay the university whilst you're not there. So
true.
How many hours do you study per week? So it depends on the course again. So some courses you will study more hours than others. Some are more coursework based than classroom based. Some are more practical learning than academic learning. So it really depends on the course itself. But you know, typically between 20 and 25 hours per week of kind of classroom time, and then depending on kind of what coursework and kind of projects that are set by your lecturer, your course leader, will depend on how many hours you potentially need to do outside the classroom. It's a little bit difficult to say exactly how many hours you will study because it just depends on your degree, and sometimes the course leader and what projects they do set you. Holidays, they're good. So you get a lot more holidays than I do. So you will have typically bank holidays, Easters, summer holidays, which is 6 weeks long, Christmas and New Year holiday. So we also do kind of half term, so kind of between semesters and stuff. So you do get a good amount of holidays. A lot of students will go home for the holidays. A lot of them will stay with us. So it really depends on what you want to do, but you'll have plenty of time to do that.
You get more than Italian students, that's for sure, as in holidays.
They get a lot, very lucky. Business management, can I do a year abroad? Yes. So I'm just going to use an example here because we have an abundance of destinations available all over the world, whether it's Europe or whether you choose to go international. So a student who has just handed in his final dissertation is actually Italian student ambassador for Coventry University. He did business management, not international business management, but he did business management. He actually did some of his studies in Australia. So not necessarily like a placement year, but he actually went and studied there at one of our partner universities for a semester. He's then had 3 internships since he's been doing his studies, so across his placement year. One of those was in the UK, 2 of them were actually back in Italy. So there's loads of different options available. We're actually number 1 in the UK for overseas student experience. So we send more students abroad than any other university in the UK to help them gain that international experience. So currently we have students in China, America, Malaysia. So they are international all across Europe and within the UK as well. So there's loads of different options available, whether you choose study abroad, whether you choose work abroad, whether you choose placement. There's a team there that will help you with that.
Okay.
I think there was one there about the airport, was there? Yes.
What happened?
So, Yep, closest airport is Birmingham. Airport I pretty much use all the time myself. So it's 10 minutes on the train. You go straight from Coventry train station to Birmingham International, and there's an overground carriage that takes you directly into the airport. It costs around £3 to get from Coventry to Birmingham, so it's very cheap for you to be able to get straight from the campus, straight to the airport, and then whatever destination. Birmingham, 10 minutes away.
It's breaking up. Okay, I'm just gonna to a question Siren has asked and about the hours. Do you actually know how many hours he would be doing for a psychology course?
So for kind of more academically based, he would be looking between 20 and 25. Now, it's very difficult to narrow it down exactly because some courses as well, they do the added advantage modules. So they will do kind of like a work experience. So that could be full-time rather than just doing the part-time studies. So it will potentially vary from semester to semester, depending on what modules you're studying, what type of studying you're doing. So whether it is classroom-based, whether it is you're on a work placement. So, but I always advise students typically between 20 and 25 hours. If you work it around that, kind of, you may not study in every day as well. It may be set over 3 days and you do more hours in those days. It may be set across 5 days. It really depends on kind of the course kind of timetable that is put in place by each individual faculty member. But they will try and kind of make it as obviously easy and as obtainable as possible.
Okay, right.
So this question here, do I have to get specific grades in order to study abroad or do a work placement? So to study abroad, that is part of your studies. So when you join the university for your placement year and your study abroad options, they are optional. So what you would do typically is sit down with your course director or your lecturer and let them know, first of all, you are interested in doing study abroad or doing a work placement, and they will then let you know the options that are available. So your placement year, so your work placement year, is typically done in your 3rd year. So to do that, you do need to have passed your first 2 years. That's the most important thing. You pass your first 2 years and then you can go on to do a work placement. There's not any specific grades, just as long as you pass your first 2 years, then you can go on to do the placement year. Study abroad, again, will depend on where you're choosing to go. Now, the universities that you will go and study at will be partner universities. So we will have made sure that the course going to study at that university is similar and relevant to the degree that you're studying with us. So as long as you've studied relevant modules previously, and you're going on to study modules that are similar to what you'd have studied with us, we're going to study abroad. So not necessarily any specific grade that needs to be achieved, no, just as long as you pass. And then the transport card that I can buy. Yes, so the card is the most popular one because with the university itself, you don't really need to venture outside the city centre to do anything kind of relevant to your studies or the social side. With us being in the city centre, everything is pretty much there. The rail card is a discounted student rail card. You apply for it online. All you need to do that is have your student ID and an email address which is related to. So yours would typically be your name at Coventry.ac.uk. So they would just then verify that you are a student. It's all done online. It's very easy. And then you will get a discount on your rail cards to travel throughout the UK by train. And they can be used on coaches as well, actually. So if you wanted to get a coach anywhere, you could use that.
Oh, Cal, you're breaking on us. Could you just shortly repeat that? Because you're breaking on us. So we lost you for a second. Okay. Yeah, I think a good idea. Kyle, I think you should just try and turn off your camera and switch it back on, maybe.
Sorry.
Because we just.
So, yeah, the most common.
So we lost you for a second.
Okay, so just quickly, the 18 to 21 rail card is the most popular one. You apply for it online when you have your student email address and student ID.
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Ok, infatti scusateci per i problemi tecnici, adesso vediamo se riesce a...
Can you hear me?
Eccolo, ok. Yeah, now try to answer the next question and we'll see if I can hear you, if we can hear you. Okay, try now, Kyle. Can you see the question? Okay, I'll try. Okay. Okay. Sarah, okay, is thanking us. Great. I'm trying to find questions. And I'm blocked as well. Okay. So what if I have classes and at the same time I have to be at work? Could this happen? Kyle, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. Okay, he's frozen again.
Can you hear me or no?
Yes, yeah, now we can. Oh, he's late. Okay. Okay, I'm going to switch my camera off. So let's see if you can hear you and see you.
Okay. So Can you hear me now? Okay, I'm gonna answer the question. Hopefully you can hear me. So it potentially could happen, is the answer to the question, which is why when students find part-time work, it's important that you let your employer know that you are a student. But typically the jobs that students will find will be flexible and they will be shift work. So you would usually set your timetable up usually a couple of weeks ahead at work. And you would already have your timetable for the university. So you would just work your work around your studies timetable. So we say it to every student, yes, work part-time is fantastic, but your studies is the most important thing. So just to make sure that your works don't affect your studies.
Okay, can you all hear me? Thank you, everyone. Grazie a tutti. I'm just gonna, I think if they have any more questions, obviously we will answer them. And if we need you obviously to answer the questions that they're asking. We'll get back to you on them, okay? Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem.
For everything.
No problem. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending today.
Grazie a tutti, siete stati veramente fantastici. A presto, se avete ancora delle domande potete tranquillamente scriverli, poi noi vi risponderemo ovviamente o potete chiamarci, noi siamo qui per voi. Grazie mille a tutti, buona serata. Bye Kyle, thank you.
Bye guys.